Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Anybody that's new, welcome. So today we are going to do stacking stars. We are going to use the tumbling tower blocks from DT, aka I call them Jenga blocks. We're going to need Wellbond and we're going to need white glue. We're going to start off with the first star. And you're going to need, for the first star, you're going to need 40 blocks. So in total for the 3 stars together is going to be 150 blocks. I won't be adding any more. So for the first star, we're going to need 40. I suggest using an L-shaped ruler, carpenter ruler, when you're gluing blocks and putting them flat. I've already done some pre-glues already. You're going to need 4 blocks like this. So this is one row of 4 blocks and you need 10 of them. Now this craft is going to be, you're going to need patience. So I suggest doing this craft while you're doing another craft, or if you're really busy with work in the holiday season, it's good to have something else because there's a little bit of drying time. And if you're impatient, it's not going to work out. So you have to have a lot of patience with this one. I already did a test one for, at the end of this tutorial, I will be doing just 1 star and doing something different in it, plus the stacking stars, but I'll do that one at the end. So it does turn out, you just gotta have patience on drying them. So it's just kind of trial and error. I played off camera and I figured out what worked best. We are gonna start stacking them in a V shape like this. Now when you're stacking them, and you're just going to put the glue right on the inside edge on just on one side, and you're going to glue them like this. But when you glue them together like that, you're going to make sure on this small star that there's only a 2-inch opening. So this is a little bit too wide. So for example, I'm just looking here, there's 2 inches. So you're going to glue, and I'm not going to glue all of them, but I'm going to show you what they need to look like. So 2 inches, and you're going to let them sit like that. And if you're using Wellbond, I suggest waiting a few hours. And once they start to seal a bit, you'll notice with Wellbond. Now, I wouldn't suggest using hot glue on doing this just because you are doing them stacking. I suggest using a good glue. So with the Wellbond, once it's dry, it dries clear. You will see that in between the cracks on both sides, on the inside of the star and on the outside of each of them. Once you see that's clear, you're just going to open up the bottle, grab a little paintbrush, paint another layer on the inside, outside. Once you see that's dry, you're going to use the white glue, open up the bottle, you're going to paint on the inside, on the outside again. You're going to wait for a good hour or 2 on the outside, on the inside, and then you're going to leave that overnight. So I'm going to get this done, and then tomorrow morning when they are dry, we'll move on to the next step. Now that I let them dry overnight, they're pretty solid. They might be just a little bit loose. This one seems to be pretty solid. Now in the corners, right here, we're gonna put some hot glue. So I'm just gonna show you, if you've watched, I think it was my Grinch and a couple of them, in the cracks, you're just gonna do nice layers all the way up. I'm not gonna do all of this, because I like to leave a little bit dry, but I just keep building it up that you have it, so when you put the paper towel mache over it, it'll just be nice and smooth. Once you get that done, then you're going to do Wellbond. We're going to put the star together on the corners. I would only suggest doing this once the glue is on. If you have some little pointy corners, you can just buff them off lightly in the corner so it's not so pointy. Then you're just going to put them like this. This one's not done. I can't stick my head, otherwise you guys won't be able to see if I put my head there to make sure that the star is properly. So now we're going to glue, and we're going to do the same process that we did on the outside, the tips of the star. We're going to do it now on the corners. We are going to, and I'm just trying to find something here I can point with. On the outside of the star, outside, that's where you're going to put your glue. And then you're going to do the same process again. So then we're going to glue it. Then we're going to go back, check it a couple hours later. When you see that the glue you're using, say Wellbond, for example, is totally dry, that it dries clear, then you're going to paint some Wellbond on. Then you're going to paint some white glue on. And then once that's done, then we'll move on to the next step. Now that I let it dry over just while I was gone to work today, now the next step we're going to do is right in the cracks here, we're going to do the same idea as putting in the hot glue here. Some of them went really well, some were a little bit more bumpy, but we can play around with the paper towel mache. It's not going to be a problem. This one turned out really well. A couple of them didn't turn out well. This one turned out well. So just for extra, plus you got to fill it in. So when we gap over here, the same idea here, that it's going to go nicely on the inside. So just nice few strokes. As you do it, when you put the couple in there, let it dry, then just flip it over, put a couple, you know, some hot glue in each one, and just keep letting it dry. Because if you don't let it dry and you keep turning it over, what's going to happen is it's going to leak and it's going to fall on your mat. So you just want to make sure that it's fully dry every time you turn it over. All right, so it is nice and dry and it's really sturdy. The only thing is you can't just paint it like this, because you're going to see like this side is flat, yes, but then you got the bumpy sides, and the paper towel mache is going to be it to make it super solid. So like I said, we're going to stack them. So I wouldn't suggest painting it at all. We're going to use some white glue from DT. I wouldn't suggest the oh, what's it called? Oh, here, let me grab it, and then I'm going to remember as I grab it. Mod Podge. I would not suggest to use this because you're going to use a lot of bottles. It's a lot cheaper to get a bigger bottle like this. I'm just going to show you, and I normally don't. I'll just show you on the messy one. So you're going to have to do on the outside and the inside, but I'd suggest doing one side of the star, letting it dry, and then flipping it over, so then you're not going to break any of the bottom or any of the paper towel move or anything like that. So you're just going to paint some on, and you're just going to paint it on lightly, like when you put the paper towel on. You don't want to be too hard on it. So this is what's going to make it nice and round. I'm going to get a good piece here. Hold on. I just rip up a bunch in the container as I go along. I'm just going to do it like this. I wouldn't go dabbing it there. I'm just going to show you like that. Put a little pressure on the side, but I wouldn't do like just lightly on top. The sides don't really matter. It's just you don't want it to go right into the grooves where it's bumpy. It's not going to be perfect, but you're just going to go lightly across like that. Then you can just put another piece over. Let's see, I'm just going to show you in the camera. It's going to be nicely rounded like that. And you're just going to keep layering it. Now, if you do find after it dries a bit, there is still a few bumpies, which I did have on a couple of the ones that I did with the paper mache. Just go over with another little piece. You just paint it down like that, so you get a nice rounded edge. And that's why you fill it in with the hot glue, just so it doesn't cave in. Oops, I don't want to touch in the inside there. So it doesn't cave in. And then you're just going to keep going all the way around. So I'm going to do that off camera, get that done, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, guys, so I did finish the paper towel mache, and it is solid. It is very good. I just like the fact that this is basically the icing on the cake because it will make it super solid. Now, I wouldn't suggest otherwise, unless you're just going to do 1 star, but then you still got to remember about the glues on, or the hot glue on the end that you can see. Now, the fun part. Now, the reason why I didn't show you the other sizes we were going to do, because I wanted to make sure that you knew the concept of doing 1 star, and I didn't want to confuse you with telling you all these numbers. So like I said, this was the small star. We had the 4 blocks, and then having the 10 rows all the way around, gluing it and doing the paper towel mache over it. Now you can do these all at the same time. I already had them drying on the side. I didn't want to confuse you, like I said. Then you're going to have a medium star. Now the medium star is the exact same way you build this one, with the exception you're going to be using 5 blocks. Exact same 10 rows, and the same concept as this one. Now, the only difference is, I'll show you on the third one actually. And the large star, which is going to be the base of the stacking stars, is exact same, except it's going to have 6 blocks and exactly the same, the 10 rows, and doing the same thing on all of them. Now, the only exception that it goes different between them is the opening gap. So remember, on the small one, we left a 2-inch mark. The medium, we are gonna do the 3-inch opening. And on the large star, we are gonna do a 3.5 inch opening. So the small star is 40 blocks, the medium star is 50 blocks, and the large star is 60 blocks, so it equals to 150. Now you can only make 2 stars if you want. You can actually just do 1 star. I am going to show you, I will do it off camera, but I am going to use, I have 2 medium stars that I did on the side because I am going to be doing them for gifts. So I am just going to use the 1 star, and I'm going to show you something a little bit different, just doing the 1 star. So now that we have these all done, and you can, you know how the little huts we had, you could do, I had them on 2 other mats and they were all drying as we went along. So as I was showing you this one, I had these ones going at the same time. It is a little bit long process with the paper towel mache, guys, but it does hold wonders. Now I'm going to use the DT white paint, and I'm going to coat them and give them a good coat, and I'm just going to see how well, because sometimes, you know, with the blocks, especially with white, you're going to might have to do 2. So I am going to do this off camera, and then we'll go on to the next step. So I did 2 coats of paint. I'm going to do probably just a little bit of touch-ups, but I am going to glue them together. So when you put your base one on, you can do any color. Like I said, I want to do the white, and I want to put some silver in it and bling it out a little bit. You're going to make sure that it's upright like this, so when it's standing on the tray, I am going to be using a Dollar Tree tray like this, and it's already silver, which is a bonus. Will be sitting, but we're going to glue that after, once we glue the stars together. Then we're going to glue it on top just to make sure it's center. Then you're going to do the stacking stars. Now, you're going to glue it like this. Gonna get a bit of glue here, and all here we are going to use Well Bond when I glue them together. It is not going to touch the base here, so just keep that in mind and keep it as low as you can go that it's touching this bottom part of the star. Once that's done, you're going to add the smaller star, and we're going to add it on top here. You could add it here. The only thing that I was going to do that, it only has this bracket, but when you have it on here, it has a better hold that, for example, if I had it upright, when I have it upright, it's on a better hold that way than just holding it here on the side. So I'm going to glue them like this and keep them steady. If you use drying clamps like this, just be mindful that once you do one side, it might lift open on the back side as well. And then once we do that, I'm just going to turn it sideways like this. Then we're going to move on to the next step. While I'm waiting for the 3 white stars to dry, I thought I'd show you, I told you I was going to do 2 separate ones on the side that were just made of one. Now this is the medium star, so the medium star is 50 blocks, so it's the 5, 5, 5 all the way around of 10, so it's the 50 block one. I'm just going to use a separate one. I got a circular, I got glitter everywhere. I got the little circular boards from Dollarama. You can use for either one. I'm just going to grab over here on my other side of the table. If you decide to do, like, just want to do the 1 star, DT has these little cutting boards that you can use, and you can stain or paint whatever color. They also had these, and I've only seen them once. It's just the hanging sign from DT. You could also use that as a tray, take that out, and you can paint this and do 1 star in there as well. I just decided to go with the circular that I had. I just put some chestnut gel stain on it. Now I painted this star red, and this one does have the Mod Podge paper towel, the paper towel mache on it, and I just used the red color, and I'm just going to stand it right in the middle like that. I am going to glue it down. Before I glue it down, right in front of it, I just had this piece of fern. I don't know what made me decide to put it there. Almost looks like a little rug in front of the star. Now, I have this little Santa guy. He is from Dollarama, and I thought he's super cute. There was candies in the back, but I just took them out. And I want to put him, I'm going to put some, those little plastic presents I know I have in my stash somewhere on my other side of the table here. Let's put a couple presents in there, not that you're going to really notice. I want to stick him in here, and I want to make it look like has balloons. So I got a bunch of little balls and a bunch of different little, I'm going to do 3 colors. I'm going to do silver, white, and the red. And I'm just going to stack them up. So when you get Christmas balls, they usually come with these, I'm just trying to, all these little ties to tie them onto the tree. I just tied them right on the little balls. I'm just going to hot glue them. I'm going to do some on the inner side here and kind of build it up like a big stack of balloons. And then I'm just going to bring them down, tie them in a knot, and just a little bit of hot glue on his hands. And right behind the star, when I glue it on, and I'll show you up right at the end, I just have this little tree from Dollarama. I think it's super cute, and it's falling apart. Wanted to use one of these ones actually, but I find in the back when it was glued down that it was a little bit short, and I wanted something bigger just to fill up the space in the back. Now you could always change these to do shadow boxes and do similar to the Jenga block Christmas trees, the 4 that I did, and you can actually cut out foam board and put a design as well in the back of the stars would be cool too. I just opted out. I just wanted the see-through ones, but that's another option where you could put the gift bag or some wrapping paper on the star in the back to do a shadow box. I just thought this one would just look so much better in the back, and it just kind of fills the gape in the back opening and just fills in nicely with Santa and the tree. I like the fur and the rustic look with the Christmas ball. So I'm just going to do that off camera. Then I'm going to show you the second one. And the second one I decided to do gold, and I normally don't do gold, and it's going to be a little bit different than this one. And it turned out super cute. Well, I haven't fully finished it, but I'm going to go through with it with you. Okay, for the other star, while I'm still letting the 3 stars dry, I'm going to grab another base. So I'm gonna do the gold star, and I was playing around and I was gonna do it similar to the other one that I did. And I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna do it up, change it up a little bit. Now I did use the medium star, which is 5 blocks across. Now this one is not Mod Podge at all. Or sorry, Mod Podge. I keep saying Mod Podge. It's not paper mache. So it is just straight hot glue and the well bond. So it's, I mean, you can see, but I would not stack it. And I know I keep saying this, guys, but do not stack it. If you are going to do the stacking 3 on top that we'll do later, please Mod Podge it, because it gives it extra stability. This one's not too bad. It's only because I'm going to do one, but I decided when I grabbed the circle and I was going to just put it down like the other one, like I told you, and then I changed my mind. So on this one particular, I'm going to add 16 blocks. So I'm going to add 4 and 4 just stacked on each other, almost like a base of a tree, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to, I see I don't even have it glued. Sometimes I have things that are glued on the side, and then I play around off camera, and you know I'm bad for that. So I'm gonna put it right on there with the narrow part facing me. I'm gonna paint it, actually decided to go, I was gonna do white, but I'm actually gonna go back to the gel stain, the chestnut gel stain. Get these glued on to the base. Do the gel stain, and then I'm going to stick the star, and it sits perfectly right there. So it almost looks like a Christmas tree. I know it's hard to see, guys, and I'll move the camera on the second part when I bring it up. It looks like a Christmas tree, but a star Christmas tree, if that makes sense. So, and then you can put like some stuff under it, and it's gonna look really cute. So I'm gonna get that glued and painted, get it glued on, and then I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do inside the star. I have a little character gonna hang it from a swing. So let me get this done, and then we'll move on to the next step. So while I have the base drying, I did do the stain on it, and I glued the block down. Like I said, I use Mod Podge. You can buy it at Dollar Tree. With some gold glitter, and I normally don't do gold, but anyways, before I put this on there, I think it'd be easier if I wrapped it. So on this one, unlike the other one I just did, I'm actually going to add lights to it. So I am, and they're all tangled right now, of course. I'm just going to wrap them around, and I'm going to hot glue them, but the wire's pretty good. So these are just little packs that I get from Amazon. They're easy to conceal and hide them. 20 pack. I'm just trying to find my pack. I think it was 20. I think there was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there was 10. Sorry, 10 of them. And they come with the batteries already in them. Find them on Amazon. I paid 20 bucks, I believe, for the 10 of them, and I haven't had any issues with them. And I'm just going to wrap it. So once you glue it, I'm going to glue it on, I'm sorry, I didn't even know yet, because I just decided that I'm going to add lights while I was doing the base. I'm going to add it right underneath, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to add it right like that underneath there, that I can turn it on and off. Now, when you are gluing it on, still full of glitter, make sure that you put it this side when you glue it on with hot glue, just so you can unscrew the little screws when you need to change the batteries, and you can just flip it up this way. It'll just be much easier to change the battery than if you glue it and you can't get into it. So make sure you just do that. I'm just going to glue it right underneath. I'm going to wrap that while I'm waiting for that to dry, and then I'm just going to put some well bond, and I'm going to glue the star right on to the base of the tree, or base of the star. So I put the lights on, and I just wanted to show you. So it's upside down right here, and I can turn them on. And I put it just on the inside. I didn't end up wrapping it. I just hot glued it on the inside of the star. And the great thing about these little ones that I got from Amazon, if they're just too long, that they're overlapping too much, you can actually just take some scissors and cut the end off, and it doesn't affect the lights at all, is what I did. I just make sure I read the instructions first that you can cut them shorter. Now on the bottom of the base, as you can see, I have some fun fur. I just cut them out in pieces like this off camera. It's just a roll that I have from Dollarama. You can use any fur. You don't even have to do that. I wanted to put some Christmas balls on the bottom on top of the fur underneath. So I'm just going to hot glue them. Now, if you've watched my videos before, I did mention when you are gluing or cutting the fur off, and I'm just going to grab my roll here. When you're cutting the fur off, I would just have this little comb. I wouldn't just cut it, okay, I need that much, cut that off. I would separate it just like when you separate hair if you're doing braids or anything like that. So if you're going to put that point there, because when you cut it straight there, then this is going to be nice and long. If you just cut it like that, it's going to just look like a straight bowl cut, and the fur is going to be cut with it, the tips of it. So just make sure when you're cutting the fur that you just use a comb and just cut along the line. Now I'm just going to hot glue the fur down all the way around. I'll show you that in a minute. On the inside, I want to put a hanging, there's a little ornament that I got from Dollarama, and it was out last year, and I had these from last year and I never did use them, and I wanted to incorporate it with this one being the gold just because it has it on the ears and on her little feet, and I think she's just super cute. So I want to put her on a swing. Her feet are a little long that I noticed to put her on a swing, so I will be cutting the feet off her, cutting it shorter, and then just gluing it right on her seat. Now I just used 2 Jenga blocks. I just painted them. This is not even glitter. This is like glue glitter. I had a bottle from Amazon, or not Amazon, Walmart. And I just ended up gluing just a bit on. These was in my stash of bead strips. And I just want to use that as a swing. So I just hot glued 4 on the side, and I want to put her hanging right. I'm not going to hang. What am I going to put here too? I don't know if that works. I want to put her right hanging inside, and I would just hot glue each strips according to the width that you do down here, and that she'll be hanging. So I'm going to put the fur, I'm going to get the swing glued on, and I will show you this one at the end of the video along with the Santa one. And then the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the 3 stars, stacking stars. I did put it on that tray that I did show you, and it actually has dried overnight. So it's very solid on there. And then we're going to continue with that one. All right, so this is it. I already glued it on the stand. I used the Well Bond. It was a little bit wobbly, and I think the tray itself wasn't very, like maybe it has a little slope on it or something. I just easily took the hot glue just around the edges, not touching the Well Bond, and I had let it sit overnight like this. So it is pretty solid, but you have to make sure that you do the paper towel mache when you're doing this. I would not suggest it like the silver little one, just the 1 star, because it's not going to hold. It's the paper towel mache that holds it and just makes it more solid. We're not going to put a lot of heavy stuff on here. I wouldn't suggest that. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to work our way bottom to the top, and we're going to start with the base. So once that's glued, I want to put one of the Dollar Tree. They're little reindeers, because you guys all know I love reindeers. We're going to glue him right down there. DT has these 3 or 4 packs. I can't remember, these little silver trees. I'm trying to keep it like silver white in it. We're going to glue them down. Now from here, depending on what you want to do on the bottom, you can either put fur, or I am actually going to put fur, and I'll show you that later. So I didn't want to put too much fur. I wanted to do lights, but when I wrapped it around, I just was playing around off camera, and I didn't like the wire showing with the white. So I'm just going to opt in the tray. So I'm going to not put the fur. I'm actually just going to put a bunch of diamonds. I have all this big jar that I've had forever and never used them. So I'm actually going to just use these little diamonds. Now with gluing the fairy lights down underneath, I'm going to use, like I told you guys earlier with the Amazon, I'm just going to conceal it under the lip in the back that you have easy access. Make sure this part is glued, keep the screws showing so it's easy to replace the battery. Once I get the hot glue down, I am just going to put a bunch of diamonds down. Once I do that, we're going to come back and move on to the next step. All right, so I finished the bottom, and it's a little bit hard to see the lighting. It's dark outside, and the lighting in here is not very good, but it glows on the bottom. So I finished that part. I'm just going to turn on the upper light because you're not going to see at the bottom. There we go. So in the back right here, I just have one of my ornaments from my tree. It's just a silver star. Well, it's not a star. I don't even know what kind of. And I'm gonna hang it right in the middle there, just to put something in between there. Now I just grabbed some fun fur. I'm just gonna put it on here. I'm gonna hot glue it on the other side as well, just to give it some depth on it. And then I'm gonna put some, I think a few little Christmas balls. Now just remember, when you're actually adding stuff as we go up, try not to put nothing too heavy on it, because it is, you know, you don't want it to overload and break. In the middle here, just like the gold one I did, I just have that little ornament from Dollarama that I just love, and she's just super cute. I'm just gonna stick her right in there. I'm gonna make her cross her legs, a little sleepy angel right in there. And what else are we gonna do? I have these ones from my tree, and obviously they're not in front of me right now. I don't know where they are, and I cut them off already, and I don't know where they are. I'm just gonna cut the little string off, and I have 3 of them, I think, but I might just put 2 without the string and just put them on the corners on top, just to add a little bit of bling. Now these ones are from DT as well. You can use something like this. They're just a little foam, and they came in white as well. If you don't have the diamonds on the bottom, maybe you can use some vase filler. You know, little silver and white ones are really nice too. And then I also have just some little silver balls, and I do have a couple little white ones that I am just gonna stick in between up here. I don't want to go overboard with it. I think I'm gonna do another little bit of fur right here. This one has to be cut because it's a little bit too wide. And these ones are from DT. They had them last year too. They're just a little garland, the silver little garland. And I think I'm just gonna cut little pieces. I'm just gonna stick them in the back, just for some little bit of a bling in the back, and just fill some more Christmas balls up in there. And I think that's going to be it. I don't want to overdo it. I just think it's really pretty, very elegant, just the way it is. Let me get those things glued on, and then I'm going to turn the camera around, and then I'm going to show you all 3 of them, and we'll be finished the tutorial. All right, here's the 2 first stars. Now I'm suggest that if you're going to do a star and you don't want to do the paper towel mache, that honestly you'd have to use glitter, because it's going to be really hard to conceal the glue on the sides. I did add just a little bit of greenery with a pine cone. I added a silver star that I had on my tree, added some extra balls and pine cones, and just left the fur. I didn't put the presents underneath. I think the lights just make it just bounces off the glitter and is really cute. I know it's hard to see, guys, and I'm running out of space in my house to take videos, unless you guys want to see all my crafting stuff on my table. I really like the Santa holding it. It just looks like balloons. I did end up putting some little presents in the back, and you can get them from DT. Depends. You could put a gnome in there as well, holding up, looking like holding the balloons. The tree in the back's a little bit hard to see with my Christmas tree, but overall I think it turned out really well. And these are the medium-sized stars, so they're only 50 blocks. So you only need just under a box of Jenga, except if you're going to add the stem onto the tree. That's really up to you. This one, like, it is paper mache. I added a bit of snow in there just to make it pop a little bit more. Now let's get to the final one, the stacking stars. Just wanted to show you a close up here. So I did put an extra, actually 2 packs of the fairy lights on here. So if I suggest that you want to put them around the stars and in the base, and you are going to use the diamonds, I would suggest that you at least have 60 to 100 extra lights on it, only because I had to put an extra 3 packs, and they're 3 packs of 20. So that was 60 lights that I put on there. I could have put a little bit more, but it's okay. Now, when I started, I just glued underneath, put it around, similar to when I did it in the tray. I did one here and I did one over here. I just put them along this is the back of the tray. I just hot glued it and I just went around, and I didn't put the wire on top. I put the wire along the back, and I just kept going around. So when I started on the one side, I just went all the way around the outside. I went up to here. Sorry, I'm way too close. I went up to here and then I went back down all the way around. I went to here and I just kept going all the way around till you get to the bottom. So when I can't get to the bottom, I had extra. So I just did put more lights and I just wrapped it around underneath. I did have to take out the vase fillers to accommodate them, just because I didn't think I was going to put them, but I thought it was an added touch. Let me just turn this around. So I turned off a lot of the lights here in the house, and I just wanted to show you what it looked like with actually adding all the lights in. I think the tray just lights up beautifully. As you can see underneath, that you can see the little pinpoints in the back that went all the way around. I am going to go over with what's in there in a second. I think it turned out super cute. All right, so I turned it around and I actually moved locations. I just thought with the board in the back hiding all my crafting supplies on my table was a little silly. But I like how it lights up the tray, looks great. I added just a little star on there. You can see that I changed the star on the inside, added a little extra ball over here. And I think it turned out super cute. Oh, and I added another tree. I opted out for hanging the Dollar Tree garland. I just cut the little stars off. I put one there, and I put one over here, and I put one there. I put just some beads, just cut a little short garland of beads on top just for color, and added another ball. And I did add a little, I'm not sure where I got the bird, but it had a long tail, and I ended up just cutting it shorter. Just thought it'd fit in nicely, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I appreciate all you guys that take a second or two to let me know what you guys think of my crafts, and I really appreciate it. Happy crafting. See you guys soon. Bye.